Welcome to the Look Good Move Well podcast.
Yeah, I follow the Brogress subreddit. Progress, but Brogress.
Yeah?
Brogress. It's fascinating to see. I just find it fascinating to see what people do with their bodies, like making those aesthetic changes.
Yeah, it's really... I find it to be... I've never made like... I think probably going all the way back to when I was like in my early 20s, like I just didn't have any real desire to make, or my desire to make big body changes never outweighed my interest in just like looking lean and feeling athletic. I was like, I just don't want to bulk up. I don't want to put on like added weight and size, and
right.
It always appealed to me. I was like, I really want to do this, but then, you know, I'd like do it for like a month and be like, forget this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make progress.
Yeah, same.
For you too? Yeah,
like I've never tried to actually intentionally change my body. It's always just followed what I am doing with my body and training.
Yeah, got it. Okay, I wanted to hear your you were interested in this topic today. Talk about what got you interested in to discuss this today.
Wait, which topic are we starting with?
Ozempic. Yeah.
Well, I've seen it all over the news. I've seen lots of celebrities, getting interested in this drug. It's a drug that you can get, I think, off market, or maybe you need a prescription. I believe actually people are getting it through these like new online telehealth services that can just go direct to consumer.
Got it.
And it's a pretty intense drug from what I understand. You have to inject yourself in the stomach, and
which obviously just sounds so gnarly.
Yeah.
Like there are people that like take, insulin every single day, and that's where they inject it. It's like, it could be gnarly, it could just be whatever.
But for your average person, and that's actually a great point, because it's actually a diabetes drug.
Yeah.
And people are using it specifically for weight loss because it's an appetite suppressant. And so you inject yourself, and it's really expensive, and it's $1,000 a month, I think. And it's this whole thing that's really designed for long-term health management for diabetics, but people are using it for this purpose to suppress appetite and lose a lot of weight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's an appetite suppressant. That's the mechanism that it works on?
I believe so. I think there's a little more to it than that, but I haven't done a deep dive on what it actually does.
And it's getting a lot of attention because celebrities are using it.
Well,
or not like, they're like indirectly endorsing it.
Yeah. So there's been stuff in the news about how Chelsea Handler was using it, but she said that she was using it accidentally because her doctor or whatever was like, oh, hey, you want to try this weight loss thing? She's like, sure. She didn't even know what it was. And
that sounds like something she would do. Nice.
Right. Just give me some drugs.
I'm going to call Ben Bruno and be like, bro, your clients just are on all kinds of PEDs. What the hell?
Exactly. And then the other thing I saw in the news was how celebrities are now getting Ozempic face, which is when they lose weight so rapidly that their face looks kind of hollow, and so now the plastic surgeons have to like put fat back in the face.
Oh my god, there's no such thing as your face doesn't hollow out because you lost it too fast. It's like it just means you lost a lot of weight. Like you could lose weight. I guarantee that this drug is not preferentially making people lose body fat from their cheekbones.
For sure.
Their facial structures.
But it's just that the change happens, I think, so rapidly that it's like you wake up one day and you're like, oh, my face.
I mean, it might even just be like, I wouldn't put it past the company to be like, hey, let's start this whole thread about this is so fast acting.
Yeah.
That people have to go to plastic surgery to get their faces fatter. That is basically like if your erection lasts for 5 hours, then you might want to go seek out. You're like, I could have an erection that lasts for 5 hours. I could have a face that looks so skinny that I need to go get injected fat. Dude, sign me up for this drug. Yeah, this is so.
Yeah.
This is it's gross, and I'm sure it probably plays a very important role in a certain group of individuals who are really suffering from obesity and like As a result, they're unable to implement healthy lifestyle changes to control their, metabolic dysfunction and insulin issues and diabetes and A1C levels that are through the roof. But yeah, it's problematic when it gets in the hands of celebrities and people who are maybe using it for like an off-label use.
Right.
It's also funny because this morning I just was like I stumbled across a post where somebody was basically like, it's like a nutrition page, and they were like talking about, can we stop listening to celebrities for health and wellness advice? Like, what the hell? Like, it's like, don't come to me for like, theater advice. Like, I don't know a damn thing about like, it's just not right. And it's, I think it was like kind of pointing out and really calling out like Gwyneth Paltrow's recent, like, she was talking about some like wellness detox that she had gone on.
Oh yeah, the ozone in her butt thing.
But the rest of it was like basically, intermittent fasting, starving herself, only having bone broth. And they were like, yes, intermittent fasting is privileged starvation. That's awesome. Like,
right.
It was like, not to put down intermittent fasting. We've talked about it enough here on this podcast. Like, it's whatever. It's a tool. It actually has no defined meaning. It's like you fast intermittently, like for what period of time, how long, like nobody's defining that. But anyway, it's just like, so she's very influential. She's so influential. And there's a lot of people that are just listen and be like, oh, that's how Gwyneth does it. Like, you just fast and then have bone broth, and then you get ozone like shot up your rectum. Is that what what is it? I don't know. But anyway, here we are with, another injectable now that it's like, look, and why is that important for a celebrity? Because their livelihood is deeply connected to their physical appearance.
Yeah.
And that makes taking risks or doing extreme things, like, one, it raises your risk tolerance, and two, it makes something that is extreme to most people feel very manageable or doable because the reward is so great.
Yeah. And the other sad note is that it is taking these drugs out of the hands of people who really do need them, because it's making it much less easy for them to have it.
Is that part of the story as well?
Yeah, that's part of the story. There's now like a shortage of this drug for actual diabetics who need it.
But you talked about it being so expensive. So it's like, even with people that are covered by insurance, like, it's still what, $100,000 out of pocket every month?
I don't know what it is for insurance. I think that it's $1,000 if your insurance doesn't cover it. But I think that there are supply chain issues now for the people who need it, because it's just not as available.
Yeah. Supply chain issues. That's such a term that has like been, that's like a...
Is that the phrase of 2020?
Well, I mean, given the fact that today is the 3-year anniversary since the original lockdown, like the US, and global lockdown, it's just funny. It's like 3 years ago, like, I never heard of supply chain issues, It was just like, it's out of stock. That's it. Like, I don't know what the
first supply chain issue was the toilet paper shortage, the great toilet paper shortage.
I was like, which was, hilarious. My dad never seemed to miss the drop. Like, he was always at Walgreens every day. He had kind of talked to the people at Walgreens, like, hey, when's the shipment coming in? It's like, it comes in at 9:30 a.m. on a Thursday. He's like, I can be there because I don't have anything else to do.
Well, now you got to be that guy if you want your Ozempic.
Yeah. You got to be rolling in with cash. You got to be there at 9:37.
You got to know a guy.
You got to know a guy. It helps to be plugged into the Hollywood scene. I'm sure there's some dealers that are just crushing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Some very medical licensed medical professional who's just like, yeah, I'm going to go this route instead of treating patients.
Right. So, I mean, I thought this would be an interesting topic to cover, though, more from the overall mindset of, yeah, this sounds real good. I'm going to pay $1,000 a month and inject myself in the stomach rather than actually create a sustainable training and nutrition plan.
Right. Well, you can't, it's hard to argue with something's easy and fast. Why would you not want to do that? Like, I don't go to the store very much anymore. I don't go shop anywhere. I use Amazon. Like, why don't you go to the retail shop and just, get your hands on the thing and actually touch and feel it and go and pick out the stuff? And I'm like, because it just takes time. It might be better. I might have a better experience, but man, I can just press a button and it shows up at my door, and then there's free returns. Like, why would I do anything else?
Easy button.
Yeah. Well, because going to the store is like, you get out, you go and interact with people. It's good for all these other things. And it's like, yeah, but it just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that principle was just really ingrained, into my thinking as a entrepreneur when, Alex Hormozy was just saying it time and time again. It's like, the speed to which you can get somebody the result, like that makes your product valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. However, I think there is a distinction here because to me, going down the Ozempic route may be something that can help you feel like I'm taking a quicker path to get started. It's like, okay, if I just lose some weight, it'll make me feel more confident to actually go to the gym, or it'll help me feel like I've gotten momentum on this plan.
Yeah.
But it's not like a sustainable, I can see myself doing this 5 years from now type of situation.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to call out nice St. Patrick's Day nails. I didn't even notice those until now. You got the green going.
Yeah. I have a St. Patrick's Day bra on too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey now. All you YouTube viewers just you saw a little skin. Look out.
When this episode airs way after St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Awkward. Well, and what it really highlights for me is that if health and fitness, a nutrition plan, a workout plan, or a way to sustainably or integrate those things into your life. Like, unfortunately, that is more often than not for most people an option or one particular solution to the same problem that Ozempic would solve for. And that is simply weight loss.
Yeah.
That people like, hey, I have a problem. I'm overweight or I want to lose weight. Okay, here are the options that I have. I can go and do exercise and nutrition. I can go and do a cleanse. I can go and do Ozempic. I can go on a water fast. I can go get a colonic. Like, I can do all these things and I will lose weight, at a different rates.
Yeah.
Some are expensive, some are cheap. The diet and exercise thing, that's a long-term thing. I know it's the more sustainable route, but it just takes too long. But it's all like, this is about losing weight.
Yeah.
People are not like, people. I think that the problem here is that the number on the scale, people's weight, is like being associated with that will improve my quality of life.
Yeah.
But, back to the example of Gwyneth, like, I don't have all her details, but I know from my experience with fasting, eating low calorie, high calorie, being active, being inactive, being sedentary, like, if you're sedentary, life quality like in your wellness and your mental, emotional, all forms of like your experiential wellness in your day to day improves, you know, with a certain amount of movement and improved nutrition.
Yep.
It's almost like we start at like, I eat horribly and I'm sedentary. Weight aside, like forget your weight. You just eat really poor quality foods. You maybe eat a little bit more than you should, and you sit around all day. Like your vitality, your hormones, like your energy, all these things just kind of are suppressed and they're just suboptimal. You feel kind of shitty relative to how you could feel in a different circumstance. Maybe you don't know how bad you actually feel because you have nothing to compare it to.
Yes.
But life quality is low. Now, the thing that people point to is like, you're overweight, or like that's the one variable that is highlighted as this is the problem. However, forget weight. If we just started to improve your nutrition quality, food quality, get a better understanding of food quantity, and you started moving and adding movement and exercise into your life, you would start to feel better. Quality of life would go up. Your daily mood would go up. Your drive and passion and, you know, libido, all these things start to improve to a certain extent. And then if you add more exercise and you get more like neurotic about your food beyond this point, it maybe there starts to become like a drop off where it's like, okay, now you've just now you're just training way more than you need to.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah. But that first climb is dramatic.
Massive.
It's massive. And the interesting thing is on that climb, you're likely going to lose weight. Now, if you don't start that climb and you take an injectable, or you go on a starvation diet and you don't move, or, you know, whatever, like all the other methods for getting rid of weight that don't include improving nutrition, quality, quantity, and movement, you'll lose weight, but you will likely experience a psychological boost, being like, wow, like I look better. I like the way I look. I feel more accepted by people. Like there are short-term gains, no question about it. Like, you know, if you take this injection and you lose 30 pounds, like your life will improve measurably for sure. But there's a limit to that. Like you won't suddenly have any aerobic capacity. You won't suddenly have functional strength. You won't suddenly have, you know, the same downstream neurotransmitter hormonal improvements and upgrades to your physiology that you would get from adopting an active movement based, you know, lifestyle. And you just won't know that. You'll miss that. So it is challenging to sort of rewrite the, you know, what is the question? What is the narrative around like my problems are connected to the number on the scale. And if I just fix that, regardless of the method, then I'm going to have improvements and be happy. But it's like, well, if you do it these 10 different ways, you'll lose weight and there will be a measurable improvement to your life. But there'll be a whole category that you don't even really get to explore and experience because you opted not to, adopt more movement and fuel yourself daily with like food that energizes your ability to think better, love better, move better,
have confidence,
all those things.
The other thing I think about is that when we're talking about just shrinking your body, then that's a very different aesthetic than if you're actually working on building muscle. And I know that I'm very biased towards a muscle aesthetic because it's not like I think everyone needs to look like super jacked. But if you have some muscle tone and your body shrinks, you just look much different than if your body shrinks without building that muscle tone.
Sure.
So maybe the old Ozempic face, it's like that's sort of a symptom of, also just you're just sort of deflating rather than building a structure for muscle tone and for that kind of look.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. I'm kind of the same way. And I think that that's important. I think our audience probably resonates with that too. They're like, I don't want to just be like, a hollow shell of a body. Like I want to have some muscle.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that most people don't really care.
Yeah.
But they haven't even really considered that.
Yeah.
And they only equate muscle to an image of somebody who's like, super overly muscular. And so they're like, yeah, actually, I don't want that. And it goes back to what I was kind of sort of saying before. It's like the muscle is like, it only like the aesthetics of muscle is just like a tiny bit of what muscle does for you in your life.
Yeah.
It's like having muscle is way, way more than a lean aesthetic.
Absolutely.
When you can do shit and pick stuff up, that's you otherwise would have had to ask somebody. I don't take for granted the fact that I will wake up every single day, and unless I'm injured or something's like wrong with me, which I get down for this particular reason, I wake up every day and I know I'm not going to have to ask anybody to do anything for me.
Oh yeah.
I got this. You want to carry this 400-pound table up the stairs by myself? I'll figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Like I got this,
Yeah.
And that's like, no one's ever going to open my pickle jar for me. That is for damn sure. And it's not an ego thing. It's like a freedom thing.
Yeah.
I just have a freedom to, that might sound like, really? Like that's why you work out so hard? Just so like I got plenty of people who can do stuff for me. Like I can call, TaskRabbit to do all that. I don't need that. But it becomes different when it's like, how freely do you move about your day? Like getting up and out of chairs. Like, I know it's kind of like the images, well, my granny can't get out of the, gran can't get off the couch. It's like, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about you sat down for 45 minutes and you stand up and your first 5 steps feel painful because you're just creaky and achy. And like, that's most people. Yeah. Like, oh, it's like hard to get up and get moving. Like, if every single day when you stood up, you just bounced out of your chair and you had a little spring to your step and you felt good, like the compounding effect of that over weeks, months, years is just like,
yes,
it changes your psychology. It changes your, like you said, confidence, your outlook on so many things.
Your joy and just participating in daily life.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I almost feel like that is the joy you see in little children. Yeah. They spring out of bed. They run everywhere. It's like, why don't you just walk? Because I can run. And I can run fast and I don't get tired.
Why would I sit down to eat this?
Yeah. Like, and that's like, yeah, so great. We've all kind of regressed in life. So we got to go out and move and do these things, not to just lose weight, not to just have a lean physique and muscular aesthetic. Like those are fine things to chase, but there's the on the other side of, losing some weight and building some muscle is 100 other benefits that you won't be able to get from an injection, or the 3-pack of colonics that you can order for this month to fit better into that dress. Yeah
I got to figure out the marketing equivalent for functional bodybuilding of Ozempic face or the 4-hour erection warning.
Yes. Hey, if after a month of doing functional bodybuilding, you can't fight off like the the overwhelming amount of like, you know, requests for your attention and time because you are just like the most exciting, you know, person on the planet, like you can have your money back and we'll let you out of your no contract, you know, subscription.
Warning, you will be accused of using steroids in your DMs.
Yes. If you start getting accused for
Needle
using
emojis
steroids
on all your social media posts.
When you start getting accused of using steroids because of functional bodybuilding, Marcus will personally DM you or send you a cameo or whatever. You know? Marcus will cameo you. Yep. It's like, and then just beyond that, it's like, you're not going to just get attention, physical attention, but like your presence is just like, oh my God, like this person is like here, they're showing up in a way. So, but going back to kind of where it started, it was like, I totally get it. Like, why would you take the easy path? Because it's easy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And there's a lot of things that we, you know, that when I'm trying to solve a problem, like I want to take the easiest route that I can afford. That is always going to be my that I can afford with either time, money, or attention, whatever.
And that has the highest chance of success in my mind.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's going to be true for anything. So it's like, is the problem weight loss? Maybe at first for some people, particularly the obese person who is diabetic and has uncontrolled A1C levels, and they're at risk of neuropathies and, you know, other downstream medical complications. Absolutely. Let's get that person, you know, let's get them their first 30, 40 pounds off. And then, but that's, again, that's just like the beginning. How do we then transform that into this next thing where it's like, but now let's give you back all the other quality of life that you've been missing while you've been in this, trapped in this body that is not allowing you to do this.
Yeah.
And so if somebody wants to latch onto that, who is, you know, look, somebody like a celebrity, it's like they're answering a different problem. It's not like, I just want to look like, you know, the thing, and I don't, every celebrity is different, but let's call it like, you know, a film actor, you know, it's, you see these photos of like actors, mostly actors, men, that like in between movies, they just let it go. Like they don't give it. They're not on camera. Like if they get hit by the paparazzi when they're at the beach, like, not their favorite thing, I'm sure, but like they don't care. Like I'm going to like have just a normal body. But, you know, when Thor, the next, you know, whatever movie is like set to shoot, like I got to get in shape. I got to pack on muscle. I got to do whatever. And this is not me like calling out an actor for doing anything in particular, but it's like, I don't know. I read something that like Hugh Jackman's getting ready for the next Wolverine Deadpool movie, and he's doing some like outrageous, you know, he's following like his 8,000 calorie diet to like bulk up. Like, yeah, you doing the 8,000 calorie diet, or you doing like the, you know, the other supplement protocol? Like I don't, whatever you're doing, like you're massively motivated for this payday and for this moment, because, you know, I know he's committed to his, to being a great actor, and I'm not taking anything away from his craft, but like then the visual appearance of what he shows up and looks like on screen makes this movie sell, you know, 200 million versus 100 million, right? It's like when Hugh Jackman is shredded and Wolverine, like that sells. So he's highly motivated to do that, and that's his the problem. So he will entertain all kinds of solutions, and he has all the resources to pay for them. And it's like, could he build that body, you know, with a more sustainable practice that he just kept up for years and years and years at a time? Sure. But he's not a bodybuilder. You know what I mean? It's like, he's not interested in that. Like, and to be honest, like the body that he wants to have on camera is not, that's like past the point, you know, of diminishing returns when it comes to training. It's like, it doesn't feel good to train that hard and to get that jacked and to be that lean. Like, that's hard to do. He's not going to do it year round.
Yeah.
You know, he stays in shape. Like, you can't build up to Wolverine body without doing any training for 10 years. Like, he has to train, but he's going to go super, super crazy, ridiculous hard for a period of time. And another, celebrity is like, I got this press tour coming up for my new book or my new comedy special or my new whatever. Like, I got to film a Netflix special in 4 months. Like, I want to look good in my whatever. I'll go on, give me the Ozempic. Like, that's an easy thing for me to do.
Yeah.
And it's not solving the same problem that, somebody who's like, oh, like, I don't have a lot of confidence. I don't feel good in my skin. Like, I feel kind of low energy. I just have all this negative, like these negative things going on in me. But if I look better, like, or if I lose some weight, like, that's going to solve all my stuff. And it will solve a couple things, but it won't solve all of them. And you might be left just being like, I didn't, how do I get those other things that people are experiencing in life? And it's the list of solutions to that is pretty small.
Yeah.
It's, you got to move, you got to get outside, you got to get into nature, you got to eat well, you got to lift heavy stuff, you got to go to bed on time, you got to wake up on, you got to do all the things. Like, if there was a pill that could get you all of that, that'd be a very good product to make, but it won't likely ever exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't.
Yeah.
Anyway, closing thoughts for today.
Maybe there is a short-term Band-Aid to get you going. Maybe you want to take the slow and sustainable route. I think either way, you're going to end up in the same place.
Yeah. I like that. And just something to think about for us. I don't think the slow and sustainable is the catchy marketing term for FBB.
It's completely fair point.
It doesn't have the same ring to it as Atmospheric River.
I know. Or Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express, Atmospheric River, El Nino. These were good.
Yeah, they were good.
They really, it was like, that's a lot of rain. Not like, yeah.
But that is our work here, is to make the slow and sustainable sexy.
Yeah. Or it's like, but it's also like the daily gratification. Like, do you want to do daily gratification forever? Or do you want to do this, one injection gratification that ends tomorrow? It's like when you finish the workout 4 days a week, you get to ride a high for 24 to 48 hours. And if you stack those workouts in the way that you do, like, you just signed up for riding the high every day, starting with the first one. Look at that. That's not slow and sustainable. That's fast and sustainable. Ride that high. Okay. So anyway, this is Marcus and Satya from FBB HQ telling you to go ride that high. Fast and sustainable. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you.